Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here, and today we're going to have a look at what else but the top 10 Mario Kart tracks from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And once again, I am not alone. I am once again joined by the wonderful disembodied voice of Arekkz of Arekkz Gaming.
Hey guys, it's Arekkz here. Thank you for having me on again. It's good to be here, and the sky is orange.
Few ground rules before we get started though. We are only looking at race courses. We are not looking at the new battle maps because of the simple reason that there aren't a lot of them, and also they're so different to the race tracks. We just thought, keep it simple, let's just do the old-fashioned racer-madoos. So without any further ado, let's crack on with number 10. Shy Guy Falls. Now, we both chose this one, didn't we?
Yes,
Thankfully, there was a bit of a crossover in there. And I think for me, personally, the reason it has to be on this list is because it's one of the few tracks where you actually feel like you're going upside down and stuff like that. And it's that moment when you're going down the waterfall and you're just like, yes.
That bit is really, really cool. Like when you almost have this kind of vertigo feeling. Like I feel if ever they kind of do that thing where they spoke about introducing VR, like if ever you had that in that moment, that would be amazing. But yeah, the dip down is really cool. The shortcuts in this are pretty cool as well, especially the one very near the end of the track if you're risky enough. And as a Shy Guy fan, I am obviously all about Shy Guy Falls. When
you're going around that last bit and you've got all the Shy Guys going, just from an aesthetic point of view, I think that's fantastic. And it's great fun. It's a nice fast track. Yeah, it's just a great track overall. Grumble Volcano. Now, this is one that I chose because, well, I must admit, I never really played Mario Kart Wii much, so for me, this was basically a brand new track. And it has the whole thing of, you know, it crumbles over time, so the track changes, and also that music.
It is, yeah. The music is very cool, and to your point again, obviously we're coming back to the shortcuts, but the fact that the track changes, there is a shortcut that only presents itself during the third lap. And this is very cool. Obviously, it doesn't cut off a huge amount, but it is the kind of jump just before the finish line, so it can make the difference between coming second and first place. So that is quite cool.
Melody Motorway. Wow, this, when playing this on the 3DS, you sort of got a sense of how nice this one is, and this was actually your choice, wasn't it?
It was, yes, yeah. In fact, I think in the States, isn't it called Music Park? This was something that came up the other day. It was
yeah, no, it does have a different name, and I have no idea why.
I know, it's confusing. I prefer Melody Motorway. But either way, yes, I really like this one. Again, because the parts where you have the nice corners where you drift around and it actually plays the piano, it's really, really cool. Also, it's also one of my best tracks. Like, anytime I play against my friends and stuff, this is one of the tracks that I can reliably say, when I race on here, I'm going to win. You can actually get quite a few considerable boosts down that very last stretch, which is actually really good for either jumping over people or overtaking them. So for people that don't necessarily take advantage of all the jump boosts, then that's really where you can make up a lot of ground. So there's a good chance in this track to, especially if you're falling behind, to really, really, close the gap. Yeah,
and there's also that final shortcut on the very last section of track. And I must admit, I think it was about a year after Mario Kart 8 came out, I saw that for the first time because it's well hidden. You're coming out of a tunnel, you don't see anything, and you're just concerned about getting around that corner. You don't know that there's another drum there that you can bounce off.
Yeah, and it's quite risky, that one, because you have to turn quite tight. So if you do mess it up, then obviously if you're at the final stretch, then you run the risk of either getting it right or getting it so wrong that you're then going to end up at like 8th place. So it's risk reward, but yeah, definitely a nice kind of hidden shortcut on that one.
Mario Circuit GBA, or GBA Mario Circuit, whichever one you want to call it. And again, this was another one of your choices, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah. You know what? This is a track that I never used to be a huge fan of it. I've played it a few times and whatnot, but on kind of going back the other day, recorded my video on shortcuts and stuff, discovered a brand new shortcut for this one, and I have a whole new appreciation for this track now. So there's a shortcut very near the end where you can cut across a couple of corners of grass, and there's the ramp. And if you boost off the ramp and you boost in the air, obviously it does take 3 boosts or 2 boosts at least, then you can just about not only cut the corner but also jump over the wall. There's a very small gap in effectively the invisible barrier. And if you are slightly to the right, it'll push you back. But if you get it right, you can actually jump over the wall, which is a considerable cut in the track. So again, if you're either trying to gain some ground or you're trying to, you're in the lead and want to make a even bigger lead, then that is a very nice shortcut to take. But it is heavily dependent on a boost. This isn't one of those ones you can get away with a drift boost. It is purely if you have a couple of mushrooms, then take advantage of it.
Or even a golden mushroom.
Or that indeed, yes, that would be perfect. Just boost to your heart's content.
Baby Park. Now, we both chose this one, didn't we?
Yes, we did, yes.
And for one simple reason, the track's so simple.
Well, I chose it not because of the simplicity. I chose it because of the drift nature. The fact that back in the day when snaking was a thing, this one you can pretty much drift around the entire track without, if you get the line right, you don't even have to kind of leave the drift. But it's really, really nice. Yeah, it's simple, it's quick. You can get through these races really quickly, but it's just really, really cool for the drift heads out, or the drift kings out there.
Yeah, and one of the things that I really like in 200cc mode exclusively, because if you're going fast enough when you're drifting around those corners, that little bit of ground that you know, sort of rough ground that slows you down. If you're going fast enough, you can just go straight over that, and it does not stop you. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, that's something that I kind of, because I didn't spend too much time with 200cc mode before, and it's just like kind of trying to retrain your mind to thinking there's so many places you couldn't go before that you can now drive because you're going so fast. So yeah, that's a really nice one. That makes the track ultra short if you can master that.
Mute City. Now, this is my choice, and I was adamant that this had to get in there, because Mute City, I'm not the biggest F-Zero fan in the world, but I know what I likes, and I likes Mute City.
It is good. Especially given that I don't feel like we're ever going to get an F-Zero game, then to have any kind of connection with F-Zero is quite nice. But yeah, the track itself plays out really nicely, and obviously with the different boosts you can kind of, the boost part of the tracks you can jump on. There's really a good scope in this track to get some really fast times if you know your line. The first time I played it, I actually went to a preview event, and I even tried 200cc on Mute City before trying any other speed. And let me tell you, that put me in my place a bit. It's also one of the nicest looking tracks as well. Just the lights. It's a striking track. So and the music. Yes, that's true. That's true. You can't beat a bit of F-Zero, can you? Mount Wario. Now, this wasn't the first instance of a track that was just separated into 3 sections rather than having 3 laps, just one long track. But for me, it really stands out, and I don't quite know what it is. The aesthetic is nice enough. It's just sort of snowy, and it's just so difficult to get first place, at least it is for me. Hey, that's because you need to know the shortcuts. What shortcuts do we have on this track? This one's got quite a good one. There's that part where you jump off. I think it's in just the beginning part of the second leg, so to speak. And then you jump off the ramp, and there's it basically forks into a path to the left and to the right. But if you have a boost and you can go through the trees, then you can completely cut that kind of, I think it saves about 2 seconds, something like that. So obviously you go straight in the middle, and then you leave everyone else in the dust. So that bit is quite nice. 2 seconds is all you need in Mario Kart. Rainbow Road N64. Now, this was another one of my choices, and it's not simply because I grew up with the N64 and Rainbow Road is just the best track in the world, but it is wonderful. The aesthetic is fantastic. The colour just pops out of everywhere. They've gone to town with the gold. The skybox is incredible. There are so many wonderful bends. There's trains chucking out coins, jumping up and down. What more do you want in a track? I get the feeling that you quite like this track. It's on there. It's on my top 10 list, shall we say? Nice. No, I agree. Definitely, like Mario Kart. I much like you. I grew up in the N64 version of Mario Kart, so this was also a big one for me. And I always found that back in the day, Rainbow Road was the track that truly it made or broke. It's like the make or break track, right? It's like because there's, for the most part, no barriers. So anytime you decide to try and be a little bit brave and start drifting, then it's either you're going to do very well or you're just going to die. Oh, I say there's no barriers. There are some barriers. There are, but they don't stop you from doing that shortcut, although it's not in this version. It's true, although having said that, I do like the SNES one that's in here, because that does have a couple of quite nice shortcuts. But yeah, no, I agree. As Rainbow Roads go, this is definitely one of the most memorable ones, and I feel like it would have been a sin to not have it in this list. So yes, completely agree.
Hyrule Circuit. Now, this one's a bit of a sore spot for me because you were really insistent that this one had to be, well, at number 1, basically, weren't you?
Yes. I believe you pulled rank to say this is my video. I get my number 1. But no, this is in my opinion the best DLC track. The thing I like about this one, right, is that it's just such a Nintendo feeling track because they've gone all out with it. You know, all the coins have turned into rupees, and of course you've even got the really cool shortcut where if you can master the drift going around and you hit those 3 beacons or pylons or whatever you want to call them on the way down, then you of course activate the switches. Yeah, we'll call them switches. That sounds like a good idea. Then you activate the Master Sword. That creates a nice shortcut there. But like just the whole feel of it. Obviously, I'm a little bit biased because I'm a huge Zelda fan, so anything Zelda related instantly gets some bonus points for me. But I just feel like it just feels like it belongs in both Zelda and Mario Kart.
I must admit, I love the aesthetic of it, and even though I'm pants at it because there are too many tight corners for me to be able to do it properly at 200, there's very little about the actual just track layout that really leaps out at me. It seems very safe.
The creation of it is really good, but I do agree with you. It is, as tracks go, quite a conservative track. So yeah, it's maybe not the best one, but I do love it. It's definitely one of my favourites, so I'm glad it has a place here so high.
It certainly doesn't have the complexity of Baby Park, does it? Yes, Big Blue. Anyone who knows me or has been a long-time fan of the channel knows that this is without a doubt the best track in Mario Kart 8, and I won't hear a word against it. This is basically Mount Wario on steroids. It's so fast, it's got the F-Zero aesthetic, you're going all over the place. I'm sure it's the track where you can get the most speed because you've got all the strips that speed you up, you've got the water flowing down, it's just insane, and it's just the only downside to it is it's over too quickly.
And the only downside to it is that it's not a Zelda track. No, I will completely agree. This is a really nice one. I mean, I similar to when we spoke about with Mute City, they are definitely some of the most striking tracks, and having them be a different style, just sort of the downhill race, so to speak. They are, yeah, it is a really good fun track, and I definitely think it was a great addition for the DLC as well. Yeah,
every time I play it, every time it comes up, I just get excited, and you know, there's no other track that does that for me. It's just like, oh, it's Big Blue, and I don't know, you know, even though I'm crap at it, I cannot get first place for love nor money, and it's the last bit. For some reason, I just can't do it, and that's really embarrassing.
It is quite tricky. I mean, like 200cc is something you definitely need to get used to. So any track on that is a bit of a crazy one. But yeah, no, I'll give you that. Even though I fought for my Hyrule Castle, this is a very good track.
This is a valiant effort for number 1, though you say so yourself, although I did put those words in your mouth.
Exactly.
And there you have it, the top 10 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tracks, according to me and some other geezer from the internet.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on your lovely channel. I do enjoy it very much, so thank you very much. I look forward to the next time we have another cool chat.
You can find his channel by clicking that card up there, or the link in the description, whichever tickles your pickle. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you do a 3rd tier drift around that subscribe button, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Debate with this, given that you like the F-Zero tracks, but I believe this is the best DLC track.
Mate. Should we start that again? Because
the giveaway.
You just gave away, yeah. Okay.
Sorry. Spoilers.